He'd ask you to check the engine, he'd look in there with you and everything, and he'd come in maybe once or twice a week. Every time he come in, he'd check his own tires.
Russell Royer talks in the past tense because he's heard that his oldest customer has decided to give up driving for good. It figures that William Pettis is an independent cuss, still doing things his way. We found him in his house making lunch.
Sure, I like doing that. I've done that ever since I went on my pension. Sure, I got to get my meals right stuffed.
And it turns out the rumor about him giving up driving is true.
I expected when I turned 100, they'd cancel my license. But they didn't. They sent me one. So I had a license. I was licensed for 2 more years, and I've lived it through. But I got rid of the car before that. I said, get rid of that darn car before I raise my neck.
When a neighbor who's 85 smashed his car, that was the turning point for Bill.
He's younger than I am, but his family wanted him to give up driving. Old, you know, stubborn. He kept right on driving, and it was quite an upgrade from the road into his driveway. And he got almost the top, and the motor stopped. When the motor stopped, he went right back down the hill backwards. He struck a tree. That kind of woke me up a little. I think I'll get rid of my car. I'm getting old. I don't want that to happen to me.
Bill started driving cars back in the 1920s. His first, a Hupmobile.
The next was a new car. The others was all old second-hand cars.
He and his wife Letty tootled around the countryside in leather seats with the top down. But as for sparking and spooning...
We were coming down from Sherbrooke one night, and there was a car parked side of the road. And I said to the wife, I said, my gracious, let's we park. Well, she said, you wouldn't know what to do if you parked. So I never parked.
Locomotion has been part of Bill's life ever since he went out to work at 12, when his father died. 42 years he worked on the Quebec Central Railroad, stoking coal, making steam. He retired in 1949. Since then, his driving's kept him mobile. Like most provinces, Quebec still doesn't require seniors to take a road test. Every year, Bill's doctor would check him out, and the license would arrive in the mail. But he's not against mandatory testing.
They can't be too careful, you know. It's a serious thing, driving a car, when you stop to think of it. There's so many lives lost, you know, every year over automobiles, reckless driving. But them fellows that's reckless driving, there's nothing you can do with them.
Bill won't have to worry about such things now. His last car, a 1974 Plymouth Valiant, now belongs to Arlene Royer. He sold it to her for $200. She's dropped by to show us. There are no plaques or special plates that say this car driven by Canada's oldest driver. Maybe there don't need to be.
Well, how does it feel?
Oh, it's nice.
Let it now be known officially that William Pettis took his final spin behind the wheel on Friday, November 27th, 1987, 4 weeks shy of his 102nd birthday.
You know, Bill, since William Pettis has officially retired, Ontario says that they have the oldest driver in Canada. They just retested a man at 100 years of age, and he came through with flying colors.
Good for him.